Hello, hello. I'm back again to talk about Qi. As you know, this is my favourite topic and I know it affects all of us. So let me ask you a question. What aspect of self-care do you wish you had more of a handle on? What would you like to give yourself more of? Or what can you feel that there's a calling within you that is really wanting you to take notice? Well, I had some questions that I asked people as they were coming into the Cheeky Temple Facebook group. And one of the things that I asked them was what are they struggling with? And the other one was what would they want to achieve in their lives? So I've just had a little look at a few of them. There's some really interesting ones. I'm just going to pick out this one that a lot of people voted for here. And this was what they're struggling with is the damage from stress and anxiety and worry and depression. This world that we're living in, exactly. I'm sure all of us have got a degree or part degrees of that running through us at different times of our day. And what the most common thing that people were asking that they wanted to achieve was to rebalance and strengthen their energy and their stamina. And you know that this is what Qigong is all about. Well, you will if you've listened to any of my past videos or podcasts. So if you'd like to just subscribe below if you haven't already, that would be great, because then you get notifications when I come up with more Qi-ful emissives to share with you and these kind of questions that are rocking on. You can also catch up with the podcasts on Clara Apollo's Qi Time, that's on Spotify. Not all of them are there, some of them are, but anyway, we're here live, we're doing the video now. I say we're live because I'm live and you're listening and you're watching live, but we're not in the same time frame live. But anyway, let's move on and get into this struggling with the damage from stress and anxiety and fear and worry and all of those emotions that, you know, we have as humans because they are part of the human response. But we do need to remember that emotions are energy in motion. We're not supposed to get stuck in them. So rather than suppressing and going, this feels horrid, I'm just going to park that away until whenever, it's actually being able to give ourselves an opportunity to express what needs to come through and to get into that clarity of being that occurs after the storm, so to speak. So I had an experience of this. I'll just briefly share this with you. It wasn't long ago, it's only a few days ago. And I wonder if it's sort of still a little bit of a residue because I had a minor head injury, slipped in the shower, I know, but it did kind of shock me. And although I did do my arnica and my asiya, I know that there's something that I've got a thread that I hadn't maybe quite vocalized or acknowledged to myself, was that when you hurt yourself and you live alone, you feel really super vulnerable. And it was, yeah, that kind of sort of heightened that for me. So the other night, I'd had a really good day before, a lot of groovy stuff's going on, which I'm going to share with you very soon about how you can access more energy practices more easily for you. But that's in our future. And I didn't understand quite why, but I woke up at 3:44 in the morning and there was no reason. It was dark, I wasn't hot, I didn't need to go for a wee, I hadn't had a bad dream. I'm like, why am I awake? And then I went to reach for my tea and I realised that I hadn't got my CBD tea because I hadn't been using it for a few nights, and that's something that really helps. I don't know if you tried that. It's really helpful to have at night or any time that you need to just kind of ease. And so I got my lavender out and I had a sip of my chamomile tea, and I just went into all the usual protocols that I do when I wake up. Now, have you got some of those? What do you do when you wake up in the middle of the night? What do you reach for? What works for you? Please tell me, and other people that are part of this thread. Let's share tools and techniques that are helpful. Well, one of the things that I find really useful is doing breath work. And this is obviously the Qigong slant on breathwork, but it's very similar, where I lengthen the out breath and I just let myself sink into the bed as I breathe out. I let myself settle and feel the support of the Great Mother underneath me and just kind of relax down and in. And then often what I bring in then would be a little chant, either usually the Gayatri Mantra is the one that likes to come in at that time of the morning. It feels a very gracious mantra to connect with, and that helps the mind chatter. Well, let me tell you, it didn't work this time. It was like my nagging sort of doubts and worries and anxieties just kept surfacing much more than usual. I'm like, why are my techniques not working? This is not okay. I know, I'll try some internal Qigong. That will sort me out. And by that, I mean, so some of the moves that I really know and love, that I just imagine them happening, like that mental rehearsal, very, very powerful, that we can all do. And I was doing the clearing form, and it was like down into the earth. And it just, I couldn't concentrate like I usually am able to. And which was making me frustrated, which was feeding into the anxiety, which was like, what is going on? So I decided after an hour of doing that just to get up. So I think it was about 5:30 and the dawn was breaking. And I thought, well, I know it's a really good time to practice Qigong at dawn, but I never do because it's so cold. And I like doing my meditations in the morning. And I tend to do my Qigong about 9 in the morning, that time. It's still early morning to me. And then I will also get in at sunset too. But I thought maybe this is a calling for me to do my practice in the early morning. So I thought, okay, I can do this. I knew that running a full set for me, it was an experiment to see how the funk would lift from doing the Qigong. I kind of trusted that it would, but I wanted to be really consciously aware of how that played through me and which of the movements really seemed to nourish me well. And so I got my cup of ginger tea. I put on quite a few layers. Oh no, I'm just going to back up a little bit. But before I went out, I thought one of the really good things to do, I'm sure you do it as well, is journal. It's like journal the funk out of your system. Journal. I woke up at 3:44 and this was going on, and I went, all that stuff, energy in motion, get it out, because I knew that something was needing to be witnessed. Yeah, needed to come out and through. So writing, really, really good. So sat up in bed with the cuppa and row, and then just thought, there's no point me trying to go back to sleep. No, I had to get up early in the morning anyway. I had some stuff going on. Actually, I was going to Glastonbury to meet a really dear friend, which was a blessing, a total blessing. So I wanted to do a certain amount of tasks, and to do before I could leave. So I know I'll go outside. So I wrapped up really warm. It was so cold, and I was kind of with all my plants out there, being with them, what it's like for them when the night starts to turn into the day and the promise of light and warmth coming in, so that it's felt very like an exquisite connection with nature. I'm really grateful for it, actually. I think I might do it again on a good day, not when it's raining. So I just went out and I stood and I looked at the horizon. I've got this little pocket of a view that I can actually see the horizon from where I am. And I just stood in my Wu Chi and I just let my system do what it needed to do, which is part of what I'm going to be sharing with you on the next course that starts next Tuesday, or it will be rolling on if you're watching this at a later date. I really like to share with you practical Qigongs. So what to do when you come into some self-time, some self-care, how you stand, how you presence yourself, how you let yourself be in that space. So you're turning off all the distractions and honoring that place that has called you in for self-nurture. And so that's what I did. I just stood and well, having said that, I tend to find that shaking wants to happen. And I'm sure you all know that the trauma release therapy is very much connected with shaking out. And this is central to the Qigong practice, in that it's a very quick way of getting the system to release and reorder itself. So that's something that I really love to share with you in the Qigong perspective. Sometimes you bring the drumming in, sometimes you bring some sound in, sometimes you just let a very, very quiet shake occur. So it's tuning into the subtleties. What is my system calling from me here today? And so I let it show me what it needed to do. It's a bit of turning in, a bit of clearing form. And I thought, because I've been practicing the bear and the crane, which is 2 of the 5 animal frolics that I've been learning with my teacher, and I was wanting to do them. It's like, not yet. Okay, that's like a little prize at the end. You can get to do your favorite thing. And then what called through was the Primordial Qigong form. And this is something that I love this form. It's one of the ones that I return to time and again. And I bring components of it into the trainings that I offer. And I always say this is the Primordial Qigong form. This is part of the form. It's a whole sequence. It takes about an hour to do the whole thing. And I thought, you know what? Let's see. Let's go through this sequence and see which ones, how they're affecting my situation. And to begin with, you honor the space you're in. Then you do a clearing form that also includes gathering into up from the earth into your dantian. And then you do a gathering into your 3 dantians. And then you roll the dantians. And then you expand the dantian. And like every single one added to the one before. It was like, and I was getting clearer and clearer and clearer. I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I had this thing that I would love to share with you, the Primordial Qigong form within these next courses on September, October, November, December. I want to bring in each of the segments of the Primordial within the element that we're looking at as well. And then by the end of it, you'll have a much better feeling of this primordial form. And then we'll think about how to stitch it all together at some stage. Because one of those first ones is so linked to the earth element. It's the gathering up of the earth into the dantian after the clearing. And I'm like, I really want to share this with you guys because it's working so well for me. And that's how this works. That's how I share these teachings. It's not only what works for me, but also through having conversations with you and you sort of letting, where are you at with what you're doing? What do you need? What are you finding ease? What are you finding tricky? What's being called through you? And really nourishing this wisdom, this energy wisdom that's central to you, that does want the best for you. You know, it's like you've got this own internal best friend is your chi, and it's a language that we can tune into and respond to, you know. So I know what the other thing that I just before we go to bring into your awareness is I found that after I'd done the form and I came into doing some bear, I was doing the bear form, I like to do the bear in the morning, I found I was yawning. I was like yawning beyond belief. I'm like doing so many yawns. And then I remembered that yawning is like a reset for the vagus nerve. And oh yes, I'm going to share with you loads more stuff about the vagus nerve as we roll through this as well, because it's something I'm studying for myself, which is a direct relation on how I healed the gastric reflux. So let yourself yawn, let yourself do a bit of shaking, let yourself come into standing, owning your energy, owning that relationship, being kind and compassionate to yourself, because that goes such a long way. And then if a yawn comes in, just let yourself truly expand into that yawn, surrender to the yawn, and know that when you do that, your nervous system is being reset. It's being cleared and it's being reset. So you are a marvelous miracle of creation. You've got all these tools inside of you, and now Qigong practice helps to access them and have more awareness to them so that you can pull on them and draw on them when the situation gets a bit tough and stuff. So how's this all landing for you? Do drop me a comment below. Let's continue this conversation. And if you'd like to find out more about the courses that I run, just drop a comment or come over to the Cheeky Temple on Facebook. That's QIKI. Although I must say, Facebook, don't get me started. Okay, there soon will be a new community space that we can land in. But anyway, you're here. We've got a potential to be able to connect. There is a new course starting next week. There is a link below that would give you more information about that. And if you want to ask anything more about, is this suitable for you? Where are you at with it? Let's just open this up. Let's open up this conversation. I am so here to help you access your energy mastery skills for 21st century thriving, because this is what we're about, isn't it? Mastering your energy. So thank you so much for watching. keep your chi up, my friend, and I hope to see you in the Cheeky Temple. This is where I do my training from. Only the camera's further back, of course, so that you can see full length, and you get full replays as well, and I send some audio meditations too. Anyway, it's all on the website. I say link below. Here to help, and thank you so much for watching, listening, and commenting even. So yeah, keep your chi up. See you next time. Bye for now.